Okay, guys, Road Warrior here. I'm going to enter the Old Bucks competition. Um, Again, a lot of you guys have probably played this 1,000 times. I think this is my, again, fourth or fifth time. I haven't put this up on my channel yet. This one, too, is also one of those that I've been dead liked on before, and I'm sure several of you guys have, but we'll just kind of see what happens. Now that I'm streaming, I can't try to turn my game off and then hope the bite rate resets, so to speak. Again, if you guys check my channel, I put that up, and it did actually work for me the other day in Trophy Whiskers, just simply closing my app and re-entering. But the rules are as follows. Basically, you're just going for any form of trout. It's points per, depending on if it's a young, common, uni, or trophy. Ideally, you can cycle through on a good run. You can get, one of each, the unique, a trophy, young, common, so on and so forth. The main thing on this is you want to use barbless tackle only. It could be feeder rod, float rod, um, lure rod, whatever you want to do. So I'll just kind of show you how I do, and then hopefully our bite rate is not broken. But nonetheless, like I said, I want to put this up on the channel, so we're going to give it a go and see what happens. And for the most part, I hope this is a lure everybody's got. This is a well-renowned or well-used lure you can pick up. Also, I'm going to be trying the. I'm going to actually start out with a just something everybody can get. If this doesn't work, I'm going to test this to make sure I didn't get a dead bite rate. I fished in this once, 17, 18 minutes, and didn't even have a bite. Back then, I didn't understand. I guess if you can close the app, sometimes it'll work. Some people will say stop and go. I've found luck with Twitch or stop and go. Just kind of depends. I'll rotate and just see if I can get a bite. But again, I sat in here one time and casted a lure for 17, 18 minutes and didn't get a bite. So hopefully that doesn't happen. If it does, you guys are here to witness it. We're sitting in a lake full of trout, so hopefully we can get a bite. But I'll try various tactics just to see what they'll. But you'll notice you can fall behind fairly quickly. Now, if you get dealt the bite, the broken bite rate glitch or dead lake glitch that a lot of people are complaining about in a lot of these comps, if you've watched enough of my live streams on putting these kind of how-to or just a foundation for um, these comps, you've noticed I've been dead liked in several of them, and that kind of seems to happen to most people one time or the other. Sometimes more people get it more frequently. My friend John was dead liked, I think, 4 times in a row on a comp, uh, 4 different comps, unfortunately. Just a general rule of thumb. I know, like I said, I'm not trying to copy off anybody, just like anybody else will say. You only got a few spots to cast in here. Anybody that's fished at this lake are all going to cast towards that rock. You're going to use a spoon, jig heads, uh, large minnows, whatever you want to do, shiners, mayflies, spawn sack, whatever you guys feel like you want to use. I'm going to try a couple more casts with this. If I don't get a bite, I'll go over to the X Series spoon. Again, as you can see, a lot of people's already gotten a lot of fish. We might have entered a minute late. I think we're on our 4th cast, I believe, with not even a nibble. All right, let's see if the spoon's working. Obviously, you can use a barbless nano spinner as well. I can't remember exactly. Somebody that would watch this would have to tell me. I can't remember where I picked this up. I want to say the stay at Lesney, maybe 30-day stay at Lesney or Ghent, one of them probably, maybe even Tiber. And I can already tell you, if I had this bite rate right now, I probably would have closed the app and then tried to rejoin. But again, it looks like for whatever reason, my bite rate is not working. But I'm going to keep casting anyway. And again, anybody that reviews this video or watches part of this, I'm not going to sit and live stream every old bugs competition. I just want to make sure I have one from each channel. So in the future, if anybody takes the game up, or any of you guys that notice that I'd scored well in one, you can go back and look at this as a reference point to kind of help you guys out. And then from there, if I enter this again, and I do extremely well, then maybe I'll post a quick clip of it up. But other than that, I'm not going to bore you with 17 spin the trouts or 12 old bug competitions. But again, as you can see, I should have had a bite by now. Six minutes in, I haven't caught one fish. Okay, I've tried stop and go several times. Let's go to Twitch. Approaching 7 minutes in. Not one bite. There's one, finally. There we go. A nice common young. Or a nice young, not a common. And again, the first time I played in this, I'd never even really played in it. I took fourth, using nothing but a nano spinner and a narrow spoon. But every time I've entered it since, my bite rate never works. As much as I want to say it's me not knowing how to work a lure, it's not. I know how to work a lure. Nothing, huh? So odd. Okay, to make sure nothing weird's going on, okay, well, maybe the fish are all deeper. Maybe on this peak they're all at the bottom. Let's see if we fish the bottom. Have better luck. Nothing on the bottom. Plus that I can keep to the bottom. Had a nibble. Okay, next cast we'll go near the top. Get it up there quick. We'll try to keep it near the upper part and see if keep it near the surface. Again, 10 minutes in, we've got one fish. One that was less than a pound. Had a nibble. We did have a nibble. Okay, I'm going to try one more thing. You guys have seen I've went through, let me up that a little bit. Let me try twitch towards the top. Maybe. Maybe. Interesting. Okay, guys, we're approaching 11 minutes. As you can see, it looks like Bally and John both have tried turning theirs. As you can see, they're coming on and offline. They're trying to reset their bite rate as well. Apparently, they have a broken bite rate. Again, and you guys tuning in on this, I'm doing the old bucks competition. The first time I did this, I had a blast. Not just because I took top 5, but the fish were biting here. I mean, we're in a lake full of trout, but for whatever reason, this thing gets broken. Of all things, I think Fishing Planet should be working on right now is figuring out what is wrong with the bite rates in these comps. And what I'll probably do, just to pity myself and anybody happens to watch this. Okay, we see what the peak is. It's cloudy, and this thing started, I want to say, at 4-ish. So we can start there at 5 or 4 and see if there's any difference when we just go in a normal lobby after this. Again, we've tried multiple retrieves at all different depths, whether it's midpoint. What's normally will happen here, you'll go about like 15 minutes, so over half of it you won't even get a bite. This has happened to me. This will be the 4th consecutive time it's happened to me on this, so I'm kind of glad it did again, just so you guys can witness what's going on in a lot of these comps if you enter them. Okay, now I've tried multiple retrieves, multiple depths, and anybody that's fished here knows how frustrating this can be. So what I'm going to do now, actually hold on one second. Let's just make sure. I'm going to bring out, I tried starting with the 2-inch. Tried starting with this because I know everybody would have this. I'm going to go ahead and switch to a more powerful shad that I like to use here. If I have it with me, I'm pretty sure I do. Stars and Stripes that you can pick up in the 4th of July event pack. We'll try this a couple casts, and if that don't work, I'm going to spin over to the, I guess I would say the Hot Rock that always has all the fish by it that people use on the 1x1 comp. There's a fish, okay. About 14 minutes in. So 14 minutes I got to sit without a fish. Okay. 3-pounder too, nice. Okay, so this one's working. Let's stay with this now for a little bit, and then I'll go over to the rock and see. But you can see, if you're dead legged over half of the tournament or almost half of it, you're not gonna do well. Like I said, I predicted this before. I'd set for 18 minutes without one bite, and then others that I entered in with there, they get a bite immediately. This is one of these comps that if it's going by RNG, shouldn't everybody catch fish and then the sizes just be different? Maybe within a degree, as long as you're not throwing like a 5.0 major popper or something trying to catch a trout. Uh, but if you're in the parameters, they like shad, grubs, barbless jighead. So if you don't have trouble catching these things in free mode, I don't know why there should be that much of a difference on the same peak. So again, I think in this regard, this competition for sure seems broken on bite rate. I would also say for certain players that spin the trout, that thing's broke for me every time almost. Okay, we've got 3 fish in 15 minutes. And somehow we're in 18th. Don't even know how we did that. All right. Whether we get a fish or not on this cast, I'm going to go over to the other spot and just see how active it is with a mayfly. And again, barbless only count, trout only count. So we're going to try 35 inches. And let's see what kind of bite rate we get on a mayfly. Just curious to see. Like I said before, guys, the reason I kind of posted this one up here, this is not one that I enjoy. It should be fun. In other words, if you should come in here and be able to put on whatever good barbless, especially if you got a barbless X series, a nano spinner or anything like that, or even the 1.0 narrow spoon, you should get a similar bite rate to everybody else, and should just go by numbers. But again, I'm finding more and more in certain comps for sure. For whatever reason, the bite rate's just horrible. And I don't know if somehow maybe the peak is glitched. Kind of like if you were in enter Weeping Willow and you fast forwarded to the sunny day, only to find when you click on the sunny day and you fast forwarded to it, it's cloudy. Maybe those things happen for certain players. That's the only thing I could think of. Now, I'm not for sure if it would end my stream. Otherwise, like I said, I would probably close my app a couple times just to see if my bite rate improves. But as you can see, my bite rate is, by now I should even have a bite here. Something. So we'll give it another minute or so. Because I know in free mode I can come here or even over by the lily pads, throw out a mayfly, fly, dragonfly, spawn sack, natural eggs, that sort of thing, and have no trouble getting a bite on this peak. And again, I'm not directing this at any player on something like this, but if you're a common person who wants to just come in and enjoy yourself and catch plenty of fish and feel like you're going to have a chance, if you have a broken bite rate, um, then you're going to struggle with these things. Again, I would have closed my app by now and tried to get my bite rate to reset, but this is the fourth consecutive time I've came in this thing and I get nothing, and or virtually nothing. This one particular, I have to look back at the video, but I want to say I went 14 minutes, almost half of the, trying various depths, various retrieves, the go-to lures at this lake. Um, we'll see if we can finally get something to go. But you should be able to come in here and get somewhat consistent bite, and then just let the numbers fall where they're going to. So now we've got, the trouble is it's too little too late when this happens to you. So if you spend 15 minutes in this thing, you've waited too long. In my opinion, if you come into old bucks or spend a trout, especially these two comps, uh, you don't get a bite within that first 2-3 minutes, I would close your app, wait a few minutes, try to reopen it, or close it multiple times, come back and make a cast or two, and just see if you get a bite. Especially if you're an experienced fisherman and you know how to work a lure and you understand the bait parameters, whether it's hook size, lure selection, that sort of thing. Which I'm a veteran in the game, so I do know. Even though I am not on comps, I know how to catch the fish. And you're fishing for trout. You shouldn't really have too many empty casts, to be honest with you. It looks like Josh is getting up there, so hopefully he's reset his bite rate. Again, if I wasn't streaming, it wouldn't have killed the stream, because I'm pretty sure if I would have closed app and restarted, then I would have to have two separate videos that I'd have to try to edit or something. But again, I'm just doing this live for you guys, kind of see how things go. But just a general rule of thumb, you're going to sit over here and try to get your Oregon red bands, unique and trophy, your cutthroats, a couple of the trophy rainbow, and then if it goes slow, then go over there, or start vice versa and see what you can pick up over there. Um, but when you come in and no matter what you put on, no matter what you throw, you're just not even catching any fish. That's an issue. So again, I would try to just close your app and then come right back in. But it should cycle out for you, and then kind of let the numbers fall where they are. In other words, if somebody's bite rate's a little better or their fish are a little bigger, that sort of thing doesn't ever bother me. But when you're dead laked for the first 13 to 15 minutes, sometimes 18. I was one as long as 18 once. I didn't get a bite until there was 12 minutes left in this thing before. That's frustrating. Again, that's not directed at any players. It's Fishing Planet needs to look at their algorithm on some of these and just see if their maps are glitching out. In other words, is everybody fishing on the same peak? In other words, do I enter these things and I'm fishing like in a dead valley peak where there's no action? It's made me wonder that. And like I said, I'm not just sitting here complaining of being toxic. I'm actually just posting a lot of this stuff up, hopefully just to give some feedback and then see what you guys think as well, because I know I've got plenty of friends on my friends list that are having the same issue at a lot of these lakes on these competitions in particular. again, just posting this up, I wasn't looking to come in here and thrash. Now, if I would have came in and actually got a bite right from the beginning, then I would have felt more competitive and um, felt like, you know, you kind of have a chance. But again, I was hoping I was going to be wrong and enter this, and I wouldn't have a really slow or pretty much dead bite rate. All right, now just to kind of see if how a guy could close. And also for strategy wise, the one time I played in this and I did really good, I got everything over here and here except for the, I want to say the Unique Colorado. So I'm just going to spend the rest of my time on this side and to see what happens. But again, if you start out really slow with a zero bite rate, you're not going to, and the comical part is you can just come over here and do this. And you never know if, you know, are they playing this like they would play the one by one? Everybody just casting over here by this rock? Very possible. Now, again, you know, somebody could seem like, well, Road, you sound like you're being toxic. Not really. I'm just upset that, you know, they haven't fixed an issue that seems to be that's been around for a while. And when I first started doing these, I had a bunch of people messaging me. Every time I play in a comp, I never even get a bite. And then I go into the same peak, and I thought, well, I'm going to look into that myself. So I've been posting a lot of these up. And again, for anything, you guys can look and see if this is even a comp that you even want to entertain playing in. Um, I would assume the people that are having really good luck with it, those guys you see at the top, are probably enjoying themselves. But if you're one of these guys that keep having the same issue when you go into a comp, and um, again, I would recommend try closing your app in that first 2 or 3 minutes. If you don't get in a bite in a comp where you're basically fishing for trout in a little bitty pond that you can cast across 3 times over, you know, you can cast from here. You can cast probably farther than this lake is wide 2 times. And if you're not getting bites, I would definitely try to close your app and rejoin a couple times. Gen X Josh is doing good. I think that hopefully he'll leave a comment on the on this one and say that it did work, because I know I've seen him leave a couple times trying to reset his bite rate. So again, you guys, if anything, you could see that first 11 or 12 minutes when it might have been 14, that I sat there fishing in what seemed to be an empty pond, even though we know this place is full of trout. And I could have kept casting a lure, but at that point I was so far behind I didn't care. But I just kind of wanted to see how this plays out if you guys were to use bait as well. I did pick up the probably 200 points over here, I think, just sitting here like this. So the choice is yours on you whether you want to enter something like this. But again, I can't stress that point enough. If you're broken, your game feels like it's broken. I mean, uh, close your app. Try to come back into it a couple times. Just don't leave the lake. Just close your app where you're at. Come back in. Simply rejoin the competition from this lake. Just do not leave the lake. Obviously, then you leave the comp. Also, since I know I'm not doing anything good, I usually show what the rewards are. This one I want to say is actually it's got the exterior shad. Yes, it does. I would love to have the exterior shad, so this one I'll probably keep having to torture myself for and hope at one time that it hits and I actually get a bite rate. And of course, assume I fish well. But nonetheless, I just don't like broken bite rates. So in closing, this is the Old Bucks competition here on Fishing Planet. Again, don't bind yourself on dead fishing. If you do, try to log out a couple times, log back into the game, and then hopefully that resets. So looking at this, I might come in and play this. I want to say I put this one up once, but it was on a live stream. So I'll probably play in this one just to check it off my list as well. So I hope you guys take care. Hope you enjoyed, and hope you have better fishing than I did. Like I said, just if you get dead lake that when they're on one of these things, if you don't have a fish within the let's see what the score is. If you don't have a fish, I would say within that first 3 minutes in a lake full of trout, you're getting dead laked and your game's broken. Um, my friends, I think we got 18th somehow, and we fished for 14 minutes without a fish. So if I could have got those 14 minutes back, obviously I should have been, in the top 10ish. But if you guys find that yourself in that situation, make sure you close your app, and then hopefully that'll reset your bite rate. Take care, and hope you guys enjoyed.